We just had book therapy time with Valia.
Let's just justify our taste in men. It's fine.
Now my TBR just grew a whole lot more.
If you reverse the Manic Pixie Dream Girl, you get Depressive Demon Nightmare Boy.
Hi there. Welcome to the Reading Queens podcast. We're here to talk books and more books and also book boyfriends. I said our little theme right away because you guys have seen the title. I don't know why I wait to announce it, but I'm very excited. This is one of those conversations that is very long in coming, so we're here to talk about book boyfriends. Yes, I'm Valia. Hi.
I'm Joanna.
I'm Hanna.
I'm Stacey. Oh. I thought we had it.
You're good. I will edit this together. We're good. But I will also leave this in because it works. Also, that's my fault because I did not change his name.
I was like, I don't know what the order is.
Well, the order is down below. I did change that. So it's my bad. It's already a chaos episode. We're good with that. It's fine. It is Valentine's Day. We're recording on Valentine's Day, so it's kind of like super appropriate to talk about book boyfriends. I'm excited. But first, how is your life? How's life? How's everything? How are your children on Valentine's Day?
Yeah,
we just discussed
mine
this
are all
before.
super excited for the Valentine's Day parties today. After this, I get to go make necklaces with beads for kindergartners with little hearts. I'm excited.
Nice. Stacey doesn't get to do that.
No. Nope, no necklaces.
No necklaces.
Nope, I only have a boy, so. He was excited for Valentine's Day, though. He had me cut out a bunch of little like homemade hearts. I don't ever do the Valentine's Day thing for his whole class because I don't know, it's just weird. But he really wanted to have something, so he has handwritten notes for all of his classmates. It's cute.
That's cute.
That's cute.
My oldest is almost 12, and I was like, are you doing Valentine's with your class? And she's like, I don't know. They haven't said anything. And I was like, are you too old for Valentine's? She's like, I don't know. She just like doesn't know what people are doing, and she was full of angst. So she made Valentine's just for her friends, and hopefully that is fine.
Mm-hmm.
But our Valentines are actually our Christmas treats that we were gonna give their friends because we all had COVID like right before Christmas, so they missed last week of school, and we had bought little chocolate like hot chocolate spoons, like spoons made out of chocolate, so you could stir them in, and we made marshmallows and then just threw them in the freezer because we had COVID. So they're giving out Christmas. I mean, it's not Christmassy though, right? It's still winter here. It's
still
today.
wintry.
So I think it works out. I get to be a cool mom who made homemade marshmallows, but it was like 2 months ago. So I'm feeling good.
I mean, it's still chocolate, right?
They packaged it all themselves.
Sweet stuff.
I was.
Yeah, look, there's sugar. We're good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, that's fun. Yeah, I'm not doing anything for Valentine's Day except for this. So yay!
Book boyfriend.
Party. This is my party.
This is the best party.
Yep.
I have a date with a book.
Basically, I really do need to be better about my reading.
Have you ever done one of
later.
those like blind dates with the books that they do at like the library?
No, I don't like
they
people
look
telling me
fun.
what to
Yes
read.
and
Even
no.
I know, yeah.
like I'm always like, I'll either not like it or I've already read it. I'm gonna get this book and then I'll feel like pressured to read it. I refuse.
Yeah.
I'm no fun.
At the library, I would be okay with
You're not
that because you're not
paying for
spending
it.
money. But like,
Right.
yeah, but at a Barnes & Noble, my Barnes & Noble does that. And I remember showing it to my friend one time and he was just like, what is this magic? Like, this is so weird. And I'm like, yeah, but we can tell you right now from these little blurbs that they wrote on it, I probably own all
I was
Yeah.
gonna say, that's what I was worried about, but I would have already read it, so.
Mm-hmm.
A not so blind date.
Yeah, so that's why, like, right, exactly. But at the library, it's easier because you don't have to pay for it, so
Less
you can try it
pressure.
at the library.
I just want to read the book I want to read. I already know what I want to read.
Well, that's helpful because I never know what I want to read. That's like my biggest problem recently is like I have this whole stack of books that I really want to read and then none of them work. I pick them up and I'm like, maybe not.
That is a problem.
No, it is a problem.
I
It's
do
very
go
annoying.
through that a bit.
I don't
And
know.
I do Kindle Unlimited, so I just like DNF hardcore. I'm like, I read a chapter,
yeah.
I don't like it. Read a chapter, I don't like it. Like one of them will stick. This is the joy of Kindle Unlimited.
I guess that's
I don't know.
helpful.
Sometimes I feel kind
I
of bad, but on the
guess.
other hand, I think I complete more books by doing that because then I'm more
Yeah.
likely to be reading
Mhm.
something that I want to be reading.
that you're gonna enjoy, right?
I'm in the mood for.
That's true. I've been trying to go through my actual bookshelf full of books to
Same.
read. And it's a little harder because I have them and I paid for them. So I feel like I should read more than a chapter.
Does that make them less appealing somehow? When you look at them and you're like, I should
No,
read
I mean,
these?
I don't buy like any book, right? So it's like I do want to read them, but for
True.
some reason they're just not working right now. And I was telling the ladies before we started, I'm like, I was trying to think of a book boyfriend, and I've mostly just been reading thrillers, and I don't think serial killers should be
Nope.
book boyfriends. So I had a hard time with this prompt. But yeah, I need to like actually get into some of my fantasy books instead of just continuously reading all the thrillers and serial killer books.
You just need to reread your hockey romances.
Yeah, that's true. It's time. It is time.
Same.
That's what I do when I am having
Reread an
trouble
old
finding a
favorite.
book to read. I just reread,
Mhm.
Yep.
yeah, and usually romance. Because there are no real surprises
Right.
in romance.
Yeah,
That's
You're
not what you're
reading
reading
for
it
the
for. You're not
feels,
reading it for the
yeah.
novel experience. Yeah.
it's true. You know, I should probably reread my hockey romance. It's time. I have been seeing a lot of people on TikTok loving the my favorite hockey romance recently, and so I'm like, oh, finally, like it's getting the like not that it wasn't
cool.
getting appreciation before, but every time I see it recommended, I just get really
It's
excited.
the one that I just read recently, right? I don't even remember what's called. The Deal? Yeah,
The
I
Deal,
just read it
yes.
recently. That's good.
Yeah. I love that whole series and like that whole university and everything. Anyway, okay, sorry. That is not one of my book boyfriends.
We just had book therapy
Yeah.
time with
Yes.
Valia.
No,
Moving on.
that is not one of my book boyfriends because I try to stick with young adult fantasy books because that's where I'm at. You can do other. I know that like we did other, but I wanted to do young adult because I probably could have picked adult book boyfriends from some of the rom-coms I read, but I didn't. So just FYI, I guess. Anyway, let's get into it.
All right.
Okay. I did ask the ladies to prepare 3 book boyfriends that they like to talk about. So we're going to go around the room and talk about our favorites. So Joanna is going to start us off. So
Yes, and
take it
I'm going
away.
to tell you that I prepared 2, and I'm not sure what the third one is. So it's going to be a surprise for all of us. And
Yeah. Oh, wait, before we get started, hold on just a second. These are going to be spoilery for some. I just want to make sure that we understand we will spoil some books because some boyfriends don't show up until later books. So,
We'll tell you when you should cover
I
your
mean, you should have read
ears.
all these books already anyway.
well,
Where have
just
you
kidding,
been
I'm
if you
just
haven't
kidding.
read all the books?
I know.
We're not telling you anything
ones that I-
Goodreads
the
isn't
ones
telling
that
you.
I-
Good point.
my book boyfriends are all from older books. So,
You've had the chance.
All right,
Okay,
you can go now.
so-
Sorry, I forgot to do the spoiler thing first.
and one of them might be a little bit controversial, so I'm not going to talk about him first. First, I'm going to talk about well, I'm
Say
gonna
now
make
the
it
hook. You just
I'll
do
say
it.
it second because I'm still
Controversial
not
book
sure what the
boyfriend.
third one is. Okay, but the first one was easy. And it may not come as a surprise to Valia who this book boyfriend is. But Adrian I Vashkov from
Yeah, I figured it was going to show
I like
up.
Dimitri, but I really like Adrian. So Adrian, he's from the Vampire Academy series, and he actually doesn't show up till book 2, but he is Rose's boyfriend for a little bit, and he has a lot of vices, which I'm not super into, but
But he has a reason for
he
them.
has a reason for them.
Like everyone does, probably. But
Let's
he has
just
a
justify
Yeah, I
it
know.
facing men. It's fine.
he has a good reason for him, but he is such like a doting, loyal boyfriend, both when he is dating Rose and then in like I think everyone loved Adrian so much in that series that's why Rochelle Mead gave him a whole series to
whole
himself,
series,
the Bloodline
yeah.
series, that he's like the love
he
interest
finally
for
gets
that
to
whole
get the
thing.
girl. Yeah.
And I love both series, so yes, my first one is Adrian.
I figured it wasn't going to be
No.
Dimitri, but I'm like, I think she's going to mention it because it's her
Yeah.
favorite.
I like Dimitri.
I think I love
but-
Dimitri more, but
Yeah.
I do love Adrian. And I was so happy he got his own happy ending because he's not meant to be with Rose, and you like know it.
Yeah.
Right.
So you're just like watching him be sad in those books. You're
Right.
like, "Aw."
But I did like the fact that she wrote it in the way that you could be like, you did feel for them. You know, because sometimes when you do like a love triangle, like one of the things that I hate so much is that there's like absolutely no chance for the second guy. And it's like, in this case, like, no, he's a good guy.
Yeah.
Like, he could have fit with her, but he wasn't
the right
one for her, you know?
Dimitri was.
Yeah, and I love
and
that.
I love Rose and Dimitri's love story. I mean, obviously, I love that series. Like, obviously, I love it. But I think a book boyfriend isn't necessarily like the like.
Yeah.
The main love
Yeah,
interest or
yeah,
whatever.
yeah. I like Dimitri, but I really like Adrian. So that's
Yeah,
my first
it
one.
makes sense. Perfect. Okay, Hannah,
My first
who you got for
one
us?
is a contemporary. See, I'm breaking the rules already, but still YA. It is Josh from Isla and the Happily Ever After, by Stephanie Perkins. Have any of you guys read those books?
Makes sense. Yep.
No.
I
Yes,
have
I
not.
love those.
I love all three of them, and I do love all the boys. But I love Josh. Hey, I'm an artist, and Josh is one of the only artists I've ever read in a book that reads like he's actually an artist. Like, usually
Yeah, I can
it's
see
like,
that.
it's almost always a girl who's an artist to start with. And they, like, paint as, like, an expression of their feelings and then, like, go on and, I don't know, save the world or something and forget that they ever drew. And Josh is, like, obsessed. He has to, like, learn to love Isla more than his art. I don't know why this is attractive to me. I like very competent
Yes.
boys to start with, and
Yes.
he is like amazing at what he does. And I like that. Yeah, I don't know. He has a good journey in it, and just like he draws until like he's getting like serious hand issues. He's like only a teenager.
She's so relatable.
I love it so much. But I mean, like, I just remind me of when I was a teenager. It's always like I loved the artsy boys, and I loved the musicians, and the ones who were like just, you know, I could just like imagine, because contemporary reminds me more of actually being a teenager, right? Because it's, you know, more like
Yeah.
actual experience. So I feel like teenage Hannah would have been very into little teenage Josh in this book, because I just love the creative ones, the like slightly obsessive creative ones that just love their art so much. So I don't know, it's a little
True.
strange, but
He was in the Anne and the French
he
Kiss,
is,
right?
yeah.
That's where he is introduced
because
in.
he's Etienne's like best friend.
Yes. Okay.
I liked
Yeah, so-
Etienne, but he liked the dating one girl while in love with another girl thing. I could not fully get
Yeah.
behind him as a book boyfriend, even though like it's a very cute story, and I'm not like, you know, mad at it, but
And
he doesn't make the cut.
so angsty.
He is so angsty.
He's
He's
also
very
so
needy.
angsty. Like he's so emotional,
Yeah.
like about everything. But yeah, it worked. But that's another way. Like I like the standalone contemporaries where you like meet people in other books and then you get like their own books later on.
Because they
I
fall
think
in
those
love
are really fun.
at the very beginning of the book. And you could read it as insta love, but you know that she's had a crush on him for like 2 years from the other books. And it just makes it's an interesting arc, because they like fall in love and then get horribly separated and have to like fix all their issues and then get back together. So it's very different from a normal
Right.
romance arc.
Yeah. But it was good.
He's cute.
Okay,
He's a little cute.
Stacey. Yeah.
All right, we're gonna go a very different route from the.
I've got
It's
a
gonna
big
be Hannah and
story.
Stacey,
and
and it's gonna be a sharp cliff. Okay. I'll go with my most obvious first, and it's one I share with like every other young adult fantasy romance reader ever.
I mean, I agree with you on this one too.
Oh yeah. Okay.
So it's not like you're not alone here.
So I'm gonna pick Resand from the Court of Thorn and the Roses series, and when we get into details, there will be spoilers a little bit. So warning here, but I'm pretty sure this is a spoiler that like 99% of the book world knows already.
Like I don't think they even know that there's another.
I know,
guy
yeah.
that
Most of the time
exists,
they
really,
read it.
in
Actually,
that
that's one of my
series.
They're,
absolute
like,
favorite.
surprised when they start it.
It's like my
They're
favorite
"This is
pastime
canon."
Yeah.
is reading people give reactions or watching people give reactions of reading through this series.
to the first
Oh
book.
yeah, and
Yeah.
until they get to the point where they're hooked and in love.
Yeah.
Because it's fun. But I like the bad boys. I always like the bad boys. And I like the dangerous ones with like too much power and a little bit of angsty, like the tormented past. That's a thing. So, there was I don't know if I've said this on the podcast before. I think I might have, but the tweet that was, if you reverse the manic pixie dream girl, you get depressive demon nightmare boy, and that's my type. So.
It's true. It's very, very on brand for you.
So.
I love it.
That's
well, and he's only good because he's so good for her too.
Yeah.
Like on his own, he'd be like, fine, whatever. I mean, like, yes, obviously, but it's just that he like is so supportive of her that makes us love him.
It's interesting. I assume you haven't read the newest one, The Court of Silver Flames. Is a very, very
No, I keep looking at it and thinking
it's
it's
very spicy.
Well, I've heard that. I have heard that.
But it's interesting to see Rhysand from another perspective.
I know some people weren't happy about
like
that.
him.
Yes.
So, and he does some things. But anyway, it's interesting.
That's part of the reason I haven't read it yet. I was like, no, people are liking Rhysand sometimes a little less after reading this book, and I don't know if I want to like him less.
I think you just have to like appreciate that it's a different perspective, and it's
right.
People who don't get along.
Right.
That happens. That's very relatable in real life. We don't have those kind of boys, flying us into magical kingdoms.
Depressive demon, whatever, is not for everybody.
Yeah, exactly. That's funny. So my first book boyfriend is probably the least surprising, actually, because I've been talking about this book for months. But it's Felon from Dreams Lie Beneath.
He almost made my list too, because he's adorable.
Okay, but it's by Rebecca Ross. If you missed an episode where I raved about this book.
At her, when we had her on the podcast.
Yeah. I also, raved at her. But I think he's like the perfect young adult combination of like the broody and mysterious, but also like sweet and adorable. And it's like, and brave, which I really love. But it's like you really see, I don't know, I liked his character all on his own, without Clem even being there. But then like when their relationship comes into play, I don't want to spoil things.
You said we were going to spoil things.
So, I know, but
this
is a
standalone,
okay? I don't want to spoil a standalone. But it's just so good. And I've been telling people, everybody needs to read this because it's such a good book and it's so well written. But I also just love the characters that Rebecca created. And I think, like, Felon is just, I don't know, like, I'd like to meet him in the middle of a dark street fighting nightmares. We're good. Like,
what more could you want,
baby? I'm like,
I feel like Clem's like so mad at him, which is the point of the book. It's like a revenge book. And I'm always like, but look how sweet he is.
Yeah, exactly.
Get over it. He's obviously adorable. He didn't mean to ruin your life.
Yeah, it was
a family issue. Anyway.
Yeah. No, but that's the thing. It's like, oh my gosh, I know. Everybody should just read this book and love him and be part of our loving Felon Club. Okay. Anyway, Joanna.
All right, my second one. This is the one that's going to be maybe controversial. And if Kristen was on this, she would probably go on her rant.
I'm more excited now.
Okay, I know.
I love Maxon from the selection series. Is that a surprise? Come on.
It is not a surprise. I would have been disappointed if he wasn't on your list. I'd be like, I don't even know Joanna. If Maxon isn't on your list.
So the reason why it's controversial and why Kristen would go on a rant is because even when he starts having feelings for America, he's going off kissing other girls in the middle of this, and that was just like a deal breaker for her. But
that she's also like, no, I'm not interested the whole time.
Yeah, and that's true. That's true. Yeah, and the whole like point of the book is the selection, So just like, just so you know, my Vela is based on the selection, and Ryan doesn't like that. So if you love Maxon, but that bugs you, Ryan is not like that.
I'm assuming Kristen does not watch The Bachelor.
No, I don't think she does. I don't think she does.
That would not be her cup of tea. That's funny. Did they? Okay, so side note, did they ever announce if they're gonna make a movie out of the selection? Weren't they
Yes.
saying
I think
that
it's
they
supposed to be on Netflix.
Well,
Yeah,
there
Was it
there's
just
a recent.
Because I know
optioned,
they-
or-
No, I'm pretty sure they're in the
Something
process
recent.
of like getting it going. But there was initially supposed to be a
Okay.
TV show. They filmed the pilot.
which was on Hulu.
Yeah.
They
I
watched the
that.
pilot. They filmed the pilot.
Well, I watched like they did. Okay, I watched. If they didn't release the full pilot, they released like 10 minutes of it or something like that, and I watched that, and I was okay with them not making it, not taking it.
So maybe I don't
further.
wanna
was
watch
like, okay,
that.
maybe, yeah. But I don't even know if that exists anymore. Anyway, sorry. Continue.
Seems like it would make a better show than movie.
I
Just
think
the
so.
format of
I
it.
think so.
Yeah. They should just film it like the
They
best.
should.
Yeah,
They
exactly.
should.
That's all we want.
That would be hilarious. Just like this whole world. Anyway,
Dystopian
the other one,
reality.
the one I was thinking, the one I was thinking that was actually a full pilot that they released was the Lauren Oliver's. What's the name of that? The
The
Something
Fallen.
Am I right?
The Fallen.
no. The Before I Fall, that was a movie.
Okay, yeah.
But her series, Delirium.
Oh.
Her So they did a full pilot for that, and it had like Emma Roberts in it, and I watched that, and that did not take it any further. But then like the whole first episode was the whole first book. So anyway,
Oh wow.
side note, I was so confused.
Like, where are you going?
Yeah, this is not one of my book boyfriends. I don't know why I just talked about that, but Hannah.
Yes.
Number 2 for you, please.
Okay. I'm gonna shake it up for variety because I have another sweet one. But my second one is Stolas from the Rune Kingdom series. He is and this is sorry, spoiler. That one's a spoiler. It's not until book 3. Valia, you could just put that in before with editing. Nope.
Nope. I said spoilers earlier,
It's okay.
that's why.
It's okay. I do feel that she okay. So a lot of people compare that series to Sarah J. Maas's books for good reason, because I do believe that Audrey took some inspiration there to make a good marketable book. But I like them better. And part of the reason I like them better is because Sarah J. Maas is a pantser, obviously, because she just like, I don't know, she just throws things together at the end of the series, I feel like. She's like, we're going to put in this and this and this, and some of it pays off amazing, but the best payoffs are things that are seeded far back and then come to fruition in a book, right? Which she sometimes does, and when she does, it is awesome. But Audrey Gray, I believe, is actually plotting. So you do meet Stolas at the very beginning of the very first book as like a teaser, but then you have Red Herring Boyfriend for like 2 books. But you don't get mad. I don't get mad anyway, because she burned that relationship to the ground like so hard that there is no coming back at all. You weren't like, oh, that was like, some people were like, is that a love triangle? I'm like, maybe. I don't know. It's pretty, we were never going to be with that boy. But Stolas is the lord of the underworld, and he's all like horns and wings and whatnot. But it is the trope that I love, where the girl has all the power and the guy like appreciates it when everyone else is afraid of her. I love it so much.
Mhm.
I love it when everyone else is like, ooh, you should tamp that power down. You're gonna like destroy the world. And the guy's like, you are amazing. Let's see what happens.
Yep.
And there's a bunch of
I
other
love
tropes, but that would be more spoilery for future books. But I love him, and I am waiting eagerly for another book to come out. But there are 4 so far, and they're really good. But if you start reading them and you're like, I don't know about this Archeron guy, be like, it's fine. It's fine. You don't have to get attached to him.
Oh, good. I did start reading that book.
Yeah.
So thanks for spoiling it for me.
I'm spoiling it in the best possible way. I do think it was one of those, again, I like the Red Herring Boyfriend sometimes because I like the slow burn and I like them to slowly fall in love, and have some complication. Like when the guy's obviously a complication and you're not meant to, I don't know. You know they're not meant to
like
be.
when it's not the first love interest that like you meet. Like I feel like in young adult literature a lot, like your first guy you fall in love with is like the
Your
one that you're meant to
soulmate.
be with. Yeah, and you're like, but it's not most of the time.
I like the first guy being the guy usually, but I also appreciate when authors do this because it just adds stakes to like, you don't know.
Yeah.
You don't know. It's not a given.
Right.
It's all about how attached you get to the first guy. Is sometimes
That's
too.
true.
Sometimes you're attached to the first guy and then you're like, she's gonna ruin it. Like how everyone's worried now about Crescent City. Because everybody likes Hunt and everyone
people are
is
freaking
scared
out,
of Sarah J. Maas, and I am also scared.
Oh yeah, because she has a way of.
She would
doing
shock
that.
everyone
So
if she stayed
far,
with one
she
boyfriend.
always has. But
Yeah.
Hunt is so much better than most of the boys she's written that you're like, no, she won't do it this time, right? To be determined.
Yeah, I'm gonna wait until that's over and decide if I want to read
I
it.
do.
After everything is.
I'm
just
waiting
gonna
for people to
spoiled
read
for
book
me.
2 before I decide if I'm going to read book 2. So we'll
Yeah,
see.
exactly.
Book 1 was satisfying, honestly. Anyway, if you like bad boys who are actually nice, then I like the Rune Kingdoms books.
All right, Stacey,
Oh, my turn.
you're number
Okay,
2.
I'm gonna give my ultimate book boyfriend. This is my
Your ultimate book boyfriend.
my forever love.
She's raising her fist up in the air.
I feel like we need a drum roll here.
I know,
And no one's
right?
gonna know him because no one ever reads this book. Although Kristen did. So when she was doing the
Challenge.
we were talking about book boyfriends or something. What were we doing? In our Zoom call for our author thing, she mentioned him, and I was like, yes, someone else knows him. But
Okay.
it's Ash or Ashtaroth from Steel and Stone series, Annette Marie's. First book is Chase the Dark, and he is a demon, sort of.
Demon, sort of.
Yeah, her demons are like basically fae, but they're like scary fae and then nice fae. She just calls them all demons. And he has like a human glamour, so he just looks like a guy, but he can turn into a draconian. So he has like big bat wings and horns, and he's super scary, and I love him.
Definitely Stacey's type.
Yeah, no, he's like the
Yeah.
ultimate. She's probably part of the reason why I'm obsessed with that trope. Because I just like the way that it's also a slow burn, so it takes a while for like things to become things, and but he's just a really cool character. He's very sad boy. I like sad boys.
I love a sad boy.
Yes, he's very sad boy, like literally tortured and stuff. So, and scary and
In
dangerous. I like the
literature.
dangerous.
We like sad boys in literature.
It's true. Sad boys in real life are a lot of work.
Yeah.
We don't recommend
Should
them.
have prefaced all of this that these are just
Right,
book
yeah, very
boyfriends. We don't
specific.
actually
Do not
condone
head
this
down the Lord
behavior in real
Vanderbilt.
life.
As a good.
Yeah, I also did a TikTok about sad boy, bad boys, because I like sad boy, bad boys. And I very specifically was like, in fiction, not in real life.
That's very smart. But yeah, that's definitely very you, which I love about you. It's one of those things when you just like, if I just met you on the street, I wouldn't
Yeah.
expect it. But it's just like so you that, I don't know, it's just staple to your brand or whatever. It's funny.
We had a Christmas party on Zoom, all of us queens, and most of us wore tiaras, and Stacey had horns.
Yeah.
So
I did
this
that.
will tell
I
you
did
something about Stacey.
That's me.
Yes, in case anybody was wondering. This is very much
I actually
her.
have wings too. I don't think I wore them for the video because you couldn't really see it. But next
It's hard to
Halloween,
wear
I'm
wings
going
on
to be
Zoom.
having bat wings and the horns, and it's going to be a thing. So
Nice.
We need pictures for that.
Perfect.
Yes.
Love it. You should do a TikTok like
I
that for
also have
sure.
wings, but they're not bat wings.
They're fairy wings. Also very on brand for you.
Yes.
So, you know, at least we know who we are. Anyway,
true.
okay, so number 2 for me is book 2. And this is a huge spoiler. I'm going to say that now. A very, very big spoiler.
Instead of after, like I did.
Yeah, but this is for the Girl of Fire and Thorns trilogy. And I know I've like talked about this when we first started podcast and I wanted everybody to read it.
I've read the first book.
And I know
I've
if
read
you
the
guys
first
haven't.
book.
Okay, well, okay, so you know kind
Okay.
of then
Spoil it. It's fine.
because I'm spoiling.
I'll probably
it.
be
Yeah,
more
exactly.
into it if
In
you
fact,
spoil
I
it.
told
I
my
know, me
mom
too.
to read that series, and I think she did and loved it. So, because of your
Oh,
recommendation.
yay.
Anyway.
Okay. Perfect. It's so good. You guys should all read it. But anyway, so in the first book, we meet a love interest of the main character, Eliza, and it's very beautiful and I love it so much. And then he dies in book 1. And the thing about it is that when I first read the series, I was like, there's no way he's dead, right? Like, she's going to bring it back. She doesn't.
Like, there's more books,
And-
though. He's going to come back.
Yeah, right, exactly. But in the second the second book, you see a different relationship develop that I was kind of like on board with already. But it's Hector, who is like the captain of the guard and who's her like bodyguard. And so he's very much her protector. He's very, because she's been thrust into this whole situation where she is like the powerful queen or whatever. Like she's like been placed in this position and now she has absolutely nobody on her side basically, except for him, who personally has taken her life as like his mission and to see her through because she's like the God's chosen and all this stuff. And he's very much that whole, he is a strong, powerful, brave man, but he like kind of bows down to her power. Like he's there to support her in all of her stuff. And so book 2 is so swooty. Like it's so good because you see that relationship develop and they can't be together because she's like, you know, above him in station. And oh my gosh, it's so good. I'm like getting goosebumps talking about it. I need to read this series again. Like this is gonna be my get out of my reading slump. Yeah, I just got excited. But seriously, it's so good. And I love that because you so don't expect the love interest that is so set up in book 1 to actually not be there anymore because how important he is to Eliza's journey and how everything is set up. So I love that she did that. It broke my heart, but then like book 2 restored it in a wonderful way. So
ooh, I need to
anyway,
keep reading
everybody goes
it.
to read this trilogy. Yes, it's so good.
So prepare
It's so
yourself
good.
for an emotional roller coaster.
Mm-hmm.
Well, she read book 1, so she knows at least that he dies in the end. So
I
now,
meant myself.
Oh, not yourself. Yes,
I'm not
prepare
worried
yourself.
about you guys. I'm just.
Let's be clear here.
Yes. Anyway, all right, Joanna, have you came up with?
I don't
book
know.
boyfriend number 3?
Flashing through her mind.
Yeah, because like if there was like a TV boyfriend that's in a book, you know who that would be. But
That is not the assignment.
I know.
This is not why we're here.
But those, yeah. Okay.
You got a whole episode to talk about that.
We need one.
I know.
You know who it would be.
Didn't we? We did a vampire cat or vampire,
But not a
Diaries
TV
episode.
boyfriend.
Okay,
Oh,
not
okay,
specifically
true,
about why
true.
she loves him so much.
I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. It's fine. Okay. This is another one of my favorite series, but Richard Gansey from the Raven Boys.
Little Gansey.
Yes, and the reason and I think Hanna said this before, he's like his own person. He's like obsessed with finding the dead kings and going on his journey, and there's the whole like forbidden love, and if Blue kisses someone they'll die, and so they can't do that, but like their little
Such a good time.
yeah.
I love a good kiss and you die trope.
So they can't. But just all of their little, I don't know, I love him. There's this one scene in, I think it's book 3, where they're driving somewhere to figure something out, and Gansey is driving and Blue is sitting behind him, and he like reaches his hand behind him and she like grabs his fingers, and like no one can see that, but they know, and it's like a forbidden thing, like they shouldn't even be doing this because it couldn't go any further. Anyway,
That's cute.
it is.
It's
It's
so
another one of those
cute.
like
Yep, I
super
love
slow burn,
those.
and just like there's so many like little tiny hints of their little romance where most of the time they're focused on the other big stuff that's going on. So Richard Gansey.
Kazzy's someone who you feel like should be annoying but isn't.
Yeah.
He's like the golden boy, which you're like,
Yeah.
golden boy. But then he's like super appealing.
Well,
It's
and
not his fault, he's the golden boy.
when Blue first meets him, she doesn't know his name, and she keeps referring to him as cell phone president or something, because he's all talking
Right.
like all proper on his cell phone because his family is wealthy, and yeah.
Also not
Yeah.
surprising to you.
Yeah.
Now I want to know who else is on your list.
Here's our honorable mentions.
Give us like bullet points.
I know, just give us names. I want to know. Give us names.
Well, Edward, he was like my first book boyfriend, but
Yeah. Special
Yeah.
place in your heart.
yeah. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
was Team Jacob, but I forgive you.
Well, and I was Team Edward.
Wow, I'm so surprised.
No, I had this conversation with someone about this, that like whoever you were team on is like the person, I don't know, like I married my Edward, I guess you could say, you know?
I marry
It's funny because my husband's always, he reads some YA fiction, and he's always the opposite. He never picks the same. He was Team Gale, I was Team PETA, he was Team
I was Team
Edward, I
Gale.
was Team Jacob. No, he didn't read them, he watched the movies, but anyway, yeah.
Well, in the movies, you should be Team Gale. My husband always picks the same as me. So
My husband doesn't
I
pick.
guess we share
He
a
doesn't
type
care.
in movie boyfriends.
Anyway, people with
This is
husbands.
weird.
Moving on. Just kidding. All right. Hannah.
Yes, while we're on the
Your last
topic of Maggie Stephalter, I picked Sean Kendrick from Scorpio
Aw.
Races. Partly because I just reread it just like a couple months ago. But back to the whole loving competent boys. He is like amazing with the horses, and that makes you love him. But I love how quiet he is, and I love from his point of view how he's always thinking things and not saying them.
Mhm.
Like, something
Yeah.
about that is really cute.
Okay. Yeah.
And then when you're on her point of view, he just doesn't say things, and you're like, he's thinking things,
Mm-hmm.
but not saying them. Like he'll just like say her name or something. You're like, he had like a whole paragraph in his head. I just love him.
I love
and
him
He has a
too.
hard time, and you want to give him hugs, and you're so happy that he's okay at the end.
It's been a long time
And,
since I read that, but I do remember
I just
liking
love
him.
horse boys. So there you go. I tried reading Cowboy
But he
Romances for
writes
a
like the
while,
monster
but it didn't
horses,
work
though,
out.
Yeah.
right? The water horses.
Oh yeah, like the killer water
Yeah.
horses
Yeah.
that would drag you to your doom. But he loves them, and his horse loves him
Yeah,
back
yeah.
because he's such a good horse boy.
Yeah, I like that trope of like no one else can handle them. But
Yes.
Because that really makes them
Mhm.
competent, right?
And he's like
Like,
so
that means
quiet
that they
and
know exactly what
unassuming,
they're doing.
But yeah,
That's
Yeah,
another
that's
one of
a good
those
one.
slow burn romances.
yeah, that one's only because it's a standalone.
But
it's
still.
Yeah, but it is still slow and quiet and has a lot of mood.
Most of her books are moody.
Mag is
though.
good at those books. Yeah.
Kind of her thing.
Yep.
Yeah, it is. All right, Stacey, your last one.
I also debated about changing my last one too, as I was like. But I'm gonna stick with what I went with initially, which is probably my first book boyfriend ever too. Around the time this book might have come out before Twilight. It's old. It is his name is Kartik, I think is how you say his name. From the Gemma Doyle series, from Great and Terrible Beauty.
Oh,
Oh, okay.
And it's a very forbidden love. He is, I don't remember what his like his race is, but he was not white, and it's set in the 1800s. So it's like at the time it was not considered like kosher for those people to be together. But he had like the magic, and he knew about the magic, and like they were involved in the whole thing. And it was very cute the way that it was also fairly slow burn. It started out a little bit in the beginning where it's like, I'm attracted to him. I don't know what to do with that. And then it progresses from there. And he is.
that last book made me cry, and I can never reread it.
It's haunting forever, yes.
Yes.
I only read book 1 in that series, and I couldn't get
Yeah.
into it.
Well,
Sorry,
you can
guys.
only read all of it if you want your heart broken.
Right.
I eventually had to get rid of them because
okay.
I was like, I'm never rereading these, even though they're so pretty.
That was book 2, I think, has the a love triangle, or is it in 1? But there is another boy that comes in, and that one I think it was a fairly well done love triangle.
I don't remember any love story at all
there
in book
is.
1. And I think that's why I
Okay.
stopped reading, because I was very much in
there's
my romance
the
phase.
boy that's like trying to. I think he's at the beginning. He's like trying to stop her from going into like. There's like a portal that she can get into, I think, and then there's a part where they have like it's implied that she's got feelings for him, but she's young and she doesn't really understand, and yada yada. And then they kiss, but she uses her powers to make him forget that they kissed. I'm pretty sure this is a book 1.
It's
But
been
it's been a
so
long
long
time.
since I read
It's been a long
this.
time, yeah. And so
We're all looking at her like, what?
yeah, and so he thinks it's a dream, and so later he's actually like interest kind of peaked where he kind of remembers the dream, but yeah, that part was fun. That may have been in book 2. I don't remember, but I felt like it was 1. There is.
I don't remember either. I just remember how it all ends.
She just remembers the one scene at the very end.
Yeah. Just remember
wow.
crying and being like, why did this book do this to me?
Yep.
And now Libba Bray writes too scary for me, so I can't read her anymore.
Maybe I should just read the last book, because now I want to know what made you cry.
Just read the end if that's the case.
I could just tell you later.
Okay, perfect.
I guess it's like spoilers, but
there's
no
a
one wants
tree
the end of a book spoiled. That's just mean.
Yeah, only me after we're done with this. Okay, perfect. Okay, so my last one is from Ruined by Amy Tintera, and I debated also about a book boyfriend, but mostly because I mentioned I haven't been reading enough to have a variety to choose from, and then my brain just went completely dark and was like, I don't remember any of the boys I've ever read about.
Have I even read books?
Oh, hey, yeah, it's like, what are books? I don't understand. No, it was really hard, but for some reason, Prince Cass from the Ruin series came to mind. And probably because I was like, oh, I need to reread this series because I remember really liking it. And basically the point of the story, the main character, she infiltrates the royal court by being betrothed to this dude. And she, obviously that whole she's trying to take the royalty down from the inside thing is really exciting. But I remember hating him in the very beginning because he was such a pretty boy. Everything was about him being just good looking and royal and oh my gosh, I'm so amazing. And then you get to know him and she gets to know him. And instead of having this image of who he is, she learns the layers and that he has a really good heart and he really, you know what I mean? And it's while she kind of discovers his character, you kind of slowly just fall in love with him like she does. And I thought it was written really well, and I really enjoyed that whole story because Amy writes really fast. Even though it's technically fantasy, it's set in a fantasy world, it still reads a little bit more contemporary in the way she writes, which is kind of how I write, so I really love it. And I really enjoyed seeing that progression and those layers of pretty boy being peeled off and having an actual good guy,
real human,
all of it. Yeah. I don't know. But yeah, that whole trilogy is really good and very fast paced, and yeah, that's the only one I could think of.
A whole lot more.
Yay. I know, and it's funny because I always end up bringing up these older books too, that sometimes when I mention them, people are like, I've never even heard of that. I'm like, how have you not heard of this? But yeah, that's what we're here for. That's why our podcast is here, basically, to grow our TBRs and yours. But yeah, I like that. We should do a TV book boyfriend or TV boyfriend episode.
TV book boyfriend. Yeah,
well, you already know who mine is.
You're gonna have to pick more than one. Yeah, maybe we'll do that in the future. Let us know if you guys want that that episode, because that would be fun. Or maybe we can do that one as a live or something.
That could be fun. Scary.
Have a discussion.
She's like, I'm terrified. Let's see.
But yeah, okay, so I think we'll wrap it up here. Let us know who was one of your top.
Give us 3.
Friends.
Give us 3.
You have 5 or 10. Give us 3. I wasn't gonna limit you, but Joanna said 3. So
you only get 3
now.
Yeah, no, yeah, make sure to let us know on our Instagram at Reading Queens Pod and follow us there. We post little quotes and we post behind the scenes of what we're reading, so make sure to check it out. Also, before you go, please give us a follow on your favorite podcast platform and leave a star rating or a review. Either one helps, both would be great. And then tell your friends, your family, people you meet on the street, anybody and everybody to come listen to this podcast with you, because it's fun and we're having fun, and that is all I have to say about it. Bye.
Bye.
Goodbye.